Hi, welcome again to another exciting episode of the Unfiltered Thought podcast with the amazing soul. Thank you so much for joining me again on this episode. I truly appreciate your presence. Right before we start, we're gonna get on with our ritual. So we're gonna have 30 seconds of silence. And we're going to give ourselves a big warm hug right after. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about to being loved, to fall in love. Love. It's a very interesting word. It's a word we hear as we navigate life. But personally, on my journey, the word love is something that I didn't really understand for a very long time. Growing up, I thought love was, excitement. Love was, I need the other person to fulfill my needs. I need a giddy feeling all the time. I need somebody to complete me. I thought love was a soulmate. So without me meeting my soulmate, I don't feel whole. That's what I genuinely perceive love as. It's very interesting as I keep defining love, you'll start to realize that perception of love stems from a place of attachment. There's this quote I would love to share with you. Nothing can make you happy until nothing can make you happy. I'll repeat that. Nothing can make you happy until nothing can make you happy. You see, for a very long time on my journey, I genuinely felt that someone outside of me needed to make me happy. Not until I started my journey of self-acceptance of all parts of myself unconditionally, and I started to realize that I'm whole. I'm complete. I don't need anyone outside of me to fulfill happiness in my life. I don't need anything outside of me to fulfill happiness. Happiness is my natural state of being. Nothing outside of me needs to make that complete. But the reason why I had that perception of love was what I was fed by society, what I saw my parents do, which was neither good or bad. It was just is. But that's what formed my basis of falling in love, watching movies, Disney movies, and as I started to, embark on this journey of awareness, I started to realize that being love is not an action, it's a state of being. It's a state of this present moment. You don't have to do anything to be love. You don't have to do anything to earn it. You don't have to fulfill any desire. There's no attachment to being love. It's this present moment. But most of us go into relationships wanting our partners to fulfill that gap of falling in love. And personally, on my journey, it's a trap. I'll share with you a personal experience of mine. I have a partner, a life partner, and we've been together for about 3 years now. And when I met him 3 years ago, I fell in love because I needed him to fulfill a desire of mine. I needed him to be a certain way. There are so many conditions I put in place for him or for both of us to fall in love. You see how that is stemming from a whole lot of attachment? But I'm very appreciative of that journey, because what that did for me was I saw that I was repeating the same cycle over and over and over and over again. And awareness kicked in, and I realized, I started to observe myself. And I became honest with myself that I'm actually not genuinely in love with this person. I'm trying to fill a void that he ultimately cannot fulfill. The only person that can fill that supposed void was myself. But it took me a very long time to realize that being love and falling in love are completely two different things. One stems from a place of attachment, which is you can never fulfill that desire. And one stems from a place of it's unconditional love. It's this present moment. You don't need to do anything to earn that. You just have to start to realize who you really are. This love that I speak to you about is pure, it's expansive, it's energy, it's infinite. That's who you really are at its core. The moment you start to have a direct experience with this love I speak to you about, you will start to realize that you don't need anything or anyone outside of you. Everything you need and desire, in air quotes, exists within. And the more you go within, you realize that the only true desire is to know your own soul. The moment you start to go within and know yourself, you get to a space of desirelessness. That doesn't mean that life won't happen, but it will put you in a space where you don't react, you respond. You see, tapping into that beautiful energy of being love is anyone that gets to interact with you feels that energy, feels that frequency, because it's coming from a space of unconditionality. I personally, I don't need my parents to fulfill love in my life. I don't need my partner to fulfill love in my life. I did that for a very long time, and I was just very tired of repeating the same cycles, and I realized that I am love. I'm not in a fulfilling a desire. It's this present moment. The more you go within, the realization that being love is everything that is required to navigate life seamlessly, you will start to see how expansive you are. I genuinely feel like the more all of us come together and start to open our hearts to everything and everyone and love everything and everyone unconditionally, we can start to shift this narrative beyond belief system, race, color of our skin, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Just love from one human to another, not because you did anything to earn it, just because you get to exist in this body. Just love. Love is all that is needed. We live in a society that states that we need to have kids to carry on legacy, or we need a partner to coexist with us. There's nothing right or wrong about having kids or having a partner, but we live in a society that's ingrained in our minds that without those components, there's something missing, there's a void. And most of us hatch on that narrative. What that does for us subconsciously is it puts us in that rat race of always chasing. You're always chasing something outside of you to find this love and fulfillment. And it's a never-ending well. You cannot satisfy this relentless ego. You cannot. Because that's where that stems from. Attachment. Less ego, more soul. Less ego, more heart. Less ego, more love. My life has truly transformed. I mean, literally, in every aspect of my life has truly transformed the moment I started to just love. Regardless, there's nothing to earn this love. In as much as you're a human being, I love you. That's it. Being loved, falling in love. On my journey, there's something that I'm currently learning and experiencing with my partner. For a very long time, I fell into the trap that I have to fix this person. It was my job to fix this person so they can start to act how I want it to act, how I want them to act. You see how that's stemming from control? You see how that doesn't stem from a place of sincere love? I did that. I saw things in him that I did not like, but ultimately there were things that I did not like in myself. But I kept projecting it on him for a very long time. So awareness kicked in. And I started to observe myself. I started to see what I was doing insistently. So when next it came up that triggered me to project on him, I become aware. I see the part of me that gets triggered and I sit with it. I don't project on him anymore. I sit with it. Where does this stem from? Always takes me back to my childhood, where I realized that as a kid, I felt very alone. So growing up, which I didn't realize subconsciously, I needed him to fill a void, which was impossible. And the more I sat with it, that void started to fill itself up because I started to pour back unconditional love to the parts of me he reflected back to me that I needed to sit with. So anything anyone is reflecting back to you that you're not comfortable with, it's not that person. We live in a very reflective universe. It's reflecting back to you something you need to sit with. And I also realized that he doesn't have to change the way he is. There's nothing to fix in his life. That's up to him. I just have to love him from a space of unconditionality and accept him for who he really is. Being love doesn't require you or anything or any condition to earn this. It was very challenging for me. I'm not going to come here and be like, oh yeah, it was an easy path. No, it wasn't. But it took a lot of awareness, slowing things down, practicing stopping, for me to realize that it's not my job to fix anybody. And this quote really helped me. My perception of you is a reflection of me. My reaction to you is an awareness of me. I subconsciously took in that quote, and I realized that the reason why I was having a huge challenge trying to fix him was because I saw a victim in him and ultimately saw a victim in myself. No matter how hard I try to dispute the truth, that's what it was. Until I shifted my perception that I am a conscious creator. I am infinite energy. I'm awareness. So if I'm awareness, I have to see that same thing in him. And that is how I was able to shift that attachment and realizing that accepting people just the way they are is the only way you can navigate this space of unconditional love that I speak to you about. And what that experience has done for me is, regardless of anyone that I interact with, I'm able to connect with you behind your belief system. I'm able to connect with you behind stories. Because I'm able to see a part of you in me and vice versa, because you're ultimately me. That's what being love is. But I had to go within to do the work. I had to peel back the layers of the stories that I was told over the years that, oh, this is how love is. This person got to be that way. There obviously has to be a fairy tale ending. You always have to have butterflies every day. No, they're going to be good and bad days. That's what life is. It's a wave. It's up, down, up, down. That's the fun part. Imagine an EKG in the hospital, right? So if someone is plugged into an EKG and it's flatlined, that means the person is dead, right? So that's not love. You don't want a flatline experience. You want up, down, That's what you want. You don't want that's like roller coaster. You want to get to a space of balance. Up, down, flow. In a world that is constantly moving so fast, be the flow. Flow with life. The only way you can really experience that is coming from a space of unconditional love. Attachment and desire is a very never-ending path. I didn't really understand this on my journey until I got to a space, ultimately, of desirelessness. With or without anything happening in my life, I feel whole from within. I also struggled with that for a very long time because I genuinely felt like if I have a goal or something has to happen in my life, or I have to have this big break, then, when I get there, I'll be happy, I'll feel whole, I'll feel fulfilled. Or if I have, a couple of zeros in my bank account, or my partner is this way, or excuse me, or I travel X amount of times in a year. Just the list is endless. I had that for a very long time, if I'm being brutally honest, until I got to a space that whether or not there's X amount of zeros in my bank account, or, you know, my partner is that way, or I travel the world or not, I'm love. Loving awareness. This is not something that words can explain. This is something from the heart that you feel. If you're watching this right now, I want you to just take a moment and just look at me, just stare at me, stare into my eyes, and just feel the energy. You don't need anything to earn this. You don't need any external validation for this. You are love. Because you're me. Stop seeking outside of you for validation. Stop seeking outside of you for fulfillment. Nothing outside of you is going to fill that void. The only person going to do that is you. If you can feel the energy behind the words I'm saying right now, feel it and realize the truth behind it. You will start to understand that you are this love I speak of. Be here now, my friend, and start to tap into this infinite, vast love that is already here. Until next time, love, love, love.